I am so freaking pumped for this upcoming season because I have a new to me Beast Gear stand. I got a couple things in mind for it, but first I wanted to go over the changes because if you're familiar with the Beast stand, you're used to seeing holes there. So Beast Gear just put out, let's call it a 2.0 or whatever, Rev 2 of the Beast stand. And they made a few changes to it. The most obvious is no holes in the seat tube. Apparently there was a good amount of flex that came from those holes, so they don't include them anymore. I weighed this and it is still very, very close to what it used to be claimed online. I think it was 6.8 pounds listed online, and this is coming in just a couple ounces more than that, so it's negligible difference really. The other thing that they did was move this antler bracket up an inch and added this spacer so your bee sticks can nest a little bit easier. I'll get into that, but I have an issue with that right there. They added this plastic plate for extra support for that new location of that stand bracket. Then they changed up the platform entirely. I have the old platform, so you're not going to see anything here, but they have traction cutouts on the platform. And then they also added a 45 cut on the top and bottom of the platform standoff. And what that allows it to do is to slide down the tree when you're cam locking it a little bit better. If you look at the antler brackets for the sticks, all of them have that 45 degrees, so you can pull it down and really cinch it tight. They also redid the top antler bracket. Apparently the original antler bracket makes noise, or can make noise on some hard bark trees. So they changed it up and made it a little bit more stout. It's thicker than the original one, and you can swap these on and off apparently. So I'm gonna have to do some testing to see actually how loud that is. So yeah, that's kind of the changes for the new Beast Gear stand. It took a little bit of digging to get that information. I wish they would have published that to make people, kind of more aware of it. I would have liked to have the updated platform. That would have been nice. And then this bracket here, how I wrap my bee sticks, the strap, it doesn't really fit on there because of that bracket. So yeah, I wish they would have informed us. I wish it didn't take a lot of digging on the consumer's part to figure all that out, but we did. And because I hate free time and always want to perfect everything, I got a couple of mods in mind for this. So this is how it is, currently straight out of the box. Nothing done to it, just a little piece of stealth strip there. It actually came from the factory. But my plans for this one, for this season, is obviously I'm going to stealth strip it. That's just a no-brainer. Having metal on metal is a bad idea. So I got the stealth strip kit from Uncle Lou for the stand here. Got cable silencers all the way around, all the edges, the seat post, and I'm sure I'll find some other spots that I can self strip. There's always contact points that you can. I also have backpack straps that I'm going to put on it. The straps that come with it are pretty cheap, very cheap. So I got a backpack strap, one that has a little pad. I think that's going to be a little bit more comfortable than not having the pad right there for your back. I'm going to do an under seat bag on it for storage. I'm really trying to cut down on what I carry into the woods this year, so hopefully that under seat pouch will be just enough. I'm not planning on running a pack this year. I'm really going to try just to get away with that pouch under there. Something to hide ropes and your pull-up rope, all that sort of stuff too. Cam straps for the stand. So I am going to wear my saddle with this. I am planning on hybrid hunting with it. If you would have asked me last year, I would have said I'm still all in on the saddle, which I do. I absolutely love it. I think it's really comfortable. Putting the tree in between you, In the Deer, huge advantage, the ring of steps and the maneuverability, the packability, everything of all that. Love it, absolutely love it. But what I'm noticing is where I'm finding these deer, the trees available to hunt, very tough for a saddle to get into, and being able to put the stand up against the tree and stick out from the tree would actually lend better than trying to stand on the tree because of how thick they are. So there's still a lot of areas that I will saddle hunt in, but the few areas where that I've been targeting these bucks, the stand will be better. So I just wanted to give myself that, that one more option, just in case. You never know what the tree is going to give you, especially if you're going in blind or you're, following some sign into a new area or something like that. I just want to have the most options available. If the pouch can fit my ring of steps, I'll carry the ring of steps in. If it's a quick hang and hunt, I'll just bring my ring of steps in, So I have the saddle platform, the Bowman ring of steps, and now the stand. So it's very versatile. I can get into just about any tree. I tried one sticking last year, wasn't for me. So now I got the Beast sticks that'll mount to the Beast stand. So it's a nice seamless carrying system there. And then with that under seat pouch, no pack, it should be pretty streamlined. Here's the stand. And for my Beast sticks. So I had a video out earlier where I removed all that stealth stripping from the previous owner because they put it in between like the post and the steps, or the post and the antler bracket, and you're not supposed to do that. They wouldn't really nest well with each other because of that. So I do have stealth strip kits for this, so I'm going to re-stealth strip it. Yes, after I took all the stealth stripping off, I'm going to re-stealth strip it because I'm anal about it and I like things how I like them. So that's what I'm going to do. When I bought these, it came with the Lone Wolf Custom Gear strapless strap, whatever. All of my scouting and hanging cameras, I've been using this strap, and it actually works really well. I was surprised. I just don't like straps. I like Amsteel, so I think I'm gonna go Amsteel rope mod or something like that for these. So yeah, a couple little bit of mods that I'm gonna do to my stand and my sticks to get ready. So now is a good time to reflect back on what worked and what didn't work last season. What you can improve upon, even the smallest little things. If you can stealth strip or wrap or tape or something like that, one little area that makes you 1% more quiet or something like that. If you can find 10 of those, and now you're 10% more quiet than last season. So that's how I think about it. Every little thing adds up in the end. It's way before the season. It's the summertime. You gotta shoot your bow, gotta hang your cameras, prep your spots, all that sort of stuff. But outside of all of that, gear prep season. And all broken down. Platform, seat, post, cables. This is the Stealth Strips Treestand kit. So comes with whatever length, dimensions these are. 2 of them for the cable silencers. You wrap those around the cable, so rubber boots will make some noise on that. Then we got this little bit thicker stuff that goes around the front edges. You got to cut it out for each of those supports, fold them over. And then I opted to get the full piece for the seat post because the less seams, the better. The more that I won't hate it if the seams are off. So this is, I think, 5 1/4, something like that, because inch and a quarter tube, and then you got to make room for it to wrap around. So this is the single piece. You have to ask Lou, put it in the order comments, and he'll hook you up there. This color is the new Beast Gear Plaid. I really like it. I got their jacket in this plaid color, and I think it blends in well. Gives you a little bit of light, a little bit of dark. So yeah, excited to get these on. So what I'm thinking for like the continuity, so this is going to be the inside of the cable that your boots are going to touch, and this is going to be the outside here. So I'm going to put the center of the sticky side on the inside so that there's no seam on the inside, In my thinking, that's going to wear the most against your boots. So if there's any chance that it might pull the seams off or something like that, it'll probably be because of your boots. Don't know, just a theory. And of course, this freaking adhesive is so powerful, so strong. Maybe I should have started with the edge and not the center. Maybe that would have made this go a little bit easier. Good amount of overlap. That doesn't quite cover right there, so I'll put an extra piece just to be safe. Make sure it's nice and tight. Round. I'm thinking this like an arrow wrap. Just kind of wrapping it as I go. Make sure that inner seam is nice and pressed down. Fold the outer seam over top. So one done. Fairly straight. So in this one, I'm going to start on the outside of the cable. And just attaching upper edge, whatever you want to say. It's the edge that I'll be sealing on there first. So I'm thinking this way might be a little bit easier to wrap it. I always save my scrap pieces because you never know what little odds and ends you're gonna find that needs to be taped. Just squeezing tight, making sure everything is attached. And I think that, I don't know if it's true or not, but I think heat helps the adhesive stick more. That's how it is with like rock tape. You put on like sore muscles and stuff. So the length of this, I'll cheat it and I'll do an inch and a half. So it's a 2-inch roll. And then I'm going to measure an inch and a half down. Mark it. So this is going to overlap a little bit more than the other piece that I was trying to do, but it's going to cover everything nicely. Yeah, I like that. Yep, so now there's no exposed metal. The, very unlikely chance of that happening. But I'm not gonna risk it. There we go. Cables done. Good to go. I'm going to save the post for later because I still haven't figured out a couple of things with that, mainly with the new antler bracket and how to attach sticks and everything, so I'm gonna wait on the post just until I can tinker around a little bit more. So, and start with this. So this fits right about where the cables will mount. They have a Delrin washer, so I'm not worried about it making noise. And I have to give it a little bit of room there. So I'm gonna need to cut off about a ½ inch or so. And with stealth strips, you can just fold it, make a crinkle cut, witness mark, whatever you want to call it. Close enough. So I can kind of see the little outline of where the Delrin washer is going to go. So I'm going to put it right up to the edge of that, right in the center. Take a razor blade. You can use scissors too, I would imagine. All right, close-up angle here. So there's a corner here, so I'm just going to take the razor blade, poke it through. So then that'll fold down nicely there. I'm just going to trim off. And then on this corner here, that way it'll fold better. Won't be any creases. Another corner. So I'm just going to take my razor blade, cut right along that. Nope, didn't go through. Cut right in the middle of that support, whatever that's called. Same thing here. Scoring it on top. Gives me my line, because like this one's angled out a little bit, whereas this one's straight. This one's straight back, 90-degree angle, and this is back a little bit, so it's not perfectly straight. And then we are at a couple of corners. I probably should have just started this one on the back edge of this support here, but I didn't. Yeah, I didn't think my scissors would cut up there. Press everything down. All right, this seems to be working a little better here. I just line up the razor blade. That seemed to work a lot better. Wow. Because it kind of pokes through at that edge. And then cuts in a nice easy motion. Wow. That side went much quicker. everything pushed down, everything is good to go. Pretty good for now. Edges at least are good. This came from the factory here. Adhesive is not going to come off, of course. Scrap piece for the win. Because you can still hear the nut clink, and there's a little slit there. So you know what actually I'm going to do? This other piece that I cut earlier. Just going to make it very small. And I'm going to put it right over the cut. And so I'm going to double it up. And I'm going to put this over top. So I'm tripling it up. So hopefully that will not break through. Wrap that nice and tight. So I'm setting that down. Cool. Platform. You know, I wish this one was a little bit longer. So it would go all the way around. Actually, I kind of don't like that, but I wonder, probably should have read the instructions to start. But we're here. And because I have extra, 2-inch piece, 2-inch piece, right? It's a little bit less than 2 inches that it comes with. It could just be a manufacturing error. I am just going to measure out, I believe it's 32 inches. But my patterns aren't going to match. How will I ever hunt successfully again? Tough call. Very tough call. This gray almost has a different feel than the other ones. Oh, I didn't think about that, so I gotta set it down. Darn it. Didn't think that went through. Well, that was easy. That was very nice. Now I got a nice two-tone going. That's funny. But I'd rather just have one solid piece than have to break it up. And me, I would have put the two pieces, you know, there, so it would have been 3 pieces, and not worth it. So, two-tone colorway, it is, because I'm cool like that, I guess. And the seat's gonna go over top of it, so I don't really have to do anything else. Trying to think of some stuff with a button, if I should cover that or just keep it there, you know, double up on a post or something. So like I said, with the post, I'm still figuring out some stick attachment methods, let's say, I'm not a fan of cam buckles. I really, really do not like cam buckles. I don't like the extra weight, and I don't like the metal. So I'm a firm believer in AM steel. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. So I'm going to wait on this because it depends on which bracket I'm going to use, which hole, and if I'm going to have that little shelf. So it's all about mounting, how to mount those sticks. So I'm going to wait on this part to a different time of the video. So now that I got the seat done, I'm going to add the bottom of the seat pouch. Throw a link in below. Amazon cheapo. It's 12 inches by 9 inches, which is roughly, this furthest out point is 11 and a half. So close enough, but I wanted to make sure it had the buckles on the bottom for Molly loops. And then what I really like about this one it has is the paracord. So when I open it, I can fold the seat up and open it, and it doesn't completely flop and dump everything everywhere. So that's why I went with this one. It does have these Velcro straps here, which very loud. So I'm gonna cut those off eventually. But no, this should work. Yeah, this will work great actually. 2 in the outside position and 2 right in the center. And that matches up with the cutouts very well. Cool. Well, that was easy. And the pad's gonna go right on top. When that's upright, a little bit of weight in there. Yeah, that'll be cool. So what I plan on putting in here, just general items that usually live at the bottom of your backpack. So knife, licenses, granola bar, whatever, trail mix, beef jerky. Might be big enough for a bottle of water. I'm not sure. Depends on how much it stretches. It's not very deep that way. It's pretty thin. And then ropes, pull-up rope, tether, you know, that sort of thing. I use the same tether as my lineman's. And you're supposed to have both on, you know, not be disconnected, but it's all good. Bow pull-up rope, you know, the strap for the stand, that could all kind of live in here. Even the sticks, I don't know. Like I said, I'm still playing with the sticks, but yeah, just a general accessory pouch there. Ooh, that's pretty loud. No, it's not too bad. Okay, so I did actually just notice something. There's hard plastic D-loops, and that could make some noise. I don't know why I would need the D-loops there. So the other thing I noticed are the clasps, buckles, whatever, snaps. You know, they can make noise, and yeah, it might be a little extra to do all this, but what else is there to do this time of year besides tinker with your gear? And like I said in the opening clip, you know, all you need is to make 10 things 1% more quiet, and you are now 10% more quiet overall. So could there be a chance that it makes noise? Yeah. Is it likely? Probably not. But here in less than a minute, I made it a 0% chance. So this is the 2-inch rolls, same gray that I used here. And then I'm cutting 3-inch pieces. Kind of pulling these out to the middle. And one thing I always like to think of too is, you know, I'm not doing this for the the average hunt where you go out and don't see anything, or just see a couple yearlings, or you know, group of does feeding in the distance. When that happens, this doesn't really matter, right? But if you're on some big bucks and you have a buck of a lifetime standing in front of you at 20 yards broadside, and he doesn't know you're there, you shift for some whatever reason, and this makes a clank, and he looks up at you and busts you before you can get a shot off. Would you have wished that you took the extra 2 minutes and spent the extra 50 cents, $1, $2, whatever, on stealth strip material to prevent that? I would. That's worth it to me. So that's why I do stuff like that. You never know. You never know when you're gonna get your opportunity. You never know what's gonna go wrong in the deer woods. Now I know that won't go wrong though. Well, it happened. I went a little crazy. My roll of hockey tape and my stand. Oops. I was bored. Remote work meeting. And just went to town. So I left the bottom side open. So I'll get a close up on how I did that, but it was fairly easy actually. It wasn't that bad, believe it or not. So almost getting there. Platform is almost done. Seat is done. Very close on my sticks. Deciding what I'm gonna do with my sticks. I got a special surprise there. It's gonna be pretty cool. A Franken stick, if you will. Merging a couple different technologies. Yeah, new razor blade, nice and fresh. Hockey tape. I started with the verticals first because they were the straightest. But you just put your thumb down. You can always trim it later. Put your thumb on the first point, take it to the next point, put your thumb there. Next point, put your thumb there. And this is how you get with the angles too. So it works pretty well. So like this one is, you know, pretty far off, but you can do it without creasing it, and that'll stay down. I'll show you. But it's keeping it nice and tight. And this is where the sharp new razor blade comes into handy. So every corner here, you're gonna cut, and it's gonna be like the center, you know, so if it was a right angle, it'd be at the 45, but obviously these are different size angles. So you just cut, think in that center line of whatever angle it is. And so I like to push down, and then, so I know right where the metal ends, and then slice down. And what I've noticed is if you go the same way, so turning your, so not turning your razor blade, keeping it the same direction helps speed it up. Keeping your finger there helps keep it a little bit more clean. All right, so now that everything is done, start on the end and kind of push down in the middle. So yeah, now push down in the middle. And then you come through and make sure you run your fingers down the whole corner tab. So I just run it down that entire groove of the corner. And you just come back and make sure everything is pressed down. There you go, one is done. So there's the process for how to do it. Now you just got to go through, these are all shorter pieces, so it takes a little bit longer, but the process is exactly the same. Easy to do. Finally decided what I want to do with the post here. I was going back and forth because they have the original antler bracket, they have the new antler bracket, and you have this spacer. So what they did is they moved up the original antler bracket to this top hole here. So they moved it further up. But if you were just to do that, you put your stick on, the sticks would not be sturdy. They would wobble back and forth because it doesn't butt up against the bottom of the antler bracket. So they put this spacer here to combat that. The issue with that, goes that way. The issue with that is it didn't line up perfectly, so I didn't like it. If I look at the new antler bracket, same kind of thing. It's thicker than the original one, so putting it in the original position had that offset on the stick attachment method. Put it up on top, same issue. Stick attachment method doesn't have anything to prevent the wobble. So I'm gonna stick with the OG antler bracket, and I'm gonna get rid of the spacer. I'm gonna put the antler bracket back in the OG position and just run it how it's always been. They eliminated the weight reduction holes here, so the post should be a little bit more sturdy. So I think I don't have to. I don't think the flex is going to be that big of an issue. I'm also not going to have the plastic piece in here either. That was on the front here between these top two holes. The seat post bolt, adjustment bolt, came and contacted the plastic and not the metal, but it's going to be self-stripped, so I'm not worried about it. And plus, by having the antler bracket move down, there's no way to mount the bottom side of this plastic thing anyway. So I got rid of essentially 2 bolts in these 2 pieces. It weighs nothing, so I'm not concerned about. I'm not saying, oh, I cut out 1.2 ounces. I don't care. It's not about the weight. It's just simply about how it fits, how it mounts, all that sort of thing. So here's how the new spacer is supposed to be with the old bracket. The old bracket is supposed to be on the top hole. Spacer is supposed to be on that bottom hole. But when the stick goes up to it to mount with the attachment rod, it's supposed to touch that bracket or that spacer, but that rod attachment method hole down here isn't perfectly centered in the stick. So I don't want that. So what I'm going to do is take off the new spacer. I'm not going to keep that installed. Now the problem here is your sticks are going to mount here and then they're going to be wobbly if you have it on the new position. So I'm going to drop OG bracket down to the OG location and just leave it how it was. Without the weight reduction holes on the post here, I'm not really worried about the flex. Moving this up helped with that flex. So this is going to be a little bit more structurally sound, so I'm okay keeping it at that original position. I am not going to put the plastic piece between here because that's just 2 extra bolts in the plastic piece that I don't need. Since I'm not running the space or anything, I don't need that there. And then these are going to be the 2 Beast buttons. So what I did is I put all of the hardware on, and I have circled what needs to be cut out. And then like here, I ran it all the way up to the top, all the way down to the bottom, and then put a line where the washers go, because I don't want any stealth strip touching any of the mounting surfaces. So same thing down here, the washer is going to go around. I put the line right above the washer. So I want everything to be metal on plastic. And then here's the cutout for the antler bracket, and then it also goes up on the side. I want that to be metal on metal, because it's going to be fastened down, so it's not going to make noise, but it's going to be the most secure, the safest connection. Here's the washer as well on both sides. So what that means, here are my cutouts. Pretty easy after you get the measurements and everything. But this is going to be the front of the stick, or the front of the post. This is going to be the back of the post that's up against the tree. So the antler bracket's going to stick out this way. And I want the seam to run the center down the back. I want this to be completely smooth, no seam. So that's going to go face down on the stealth strip. So there's no seam on that front side. So when this wraps over, there's going to be that seam down the center. And then all I did was cut it to size 21 inches, I think, whatever it was. And then I measured, you know, where the center is going to be on the top and bottom. So I have it centered. Take it, then you're going to want to crease it, just so you know. Make sure you're on. And with these sharp edges, you can get good creases in the stealth strip. Then I took a marker and went on the inside to measure out the center of these holes here. And then I just used my socket as a guide around, and it's good enough, it'll work. I measured it out. So I did that, and then I just just kept rolling it and would line up these, mark, roll it, and finish off the straight edge. Same thing here. This is for the stick attachment. I want it to be, cut out there. Same down here. So now I have everything. These are, what side of the line to take. So cut on the inside, and this one's cut on the outside. Just so you know, because it's a pretty big margin, the Sharpie line. But this is going to be how I'm going to cut it out. Everything here in the X's are going to get cut out, and then hopefully it'll line up perfectly with the post. Got everything cut out. Hopefully my measurements, everything is on. All the circles kind of line up. So let's put it together. Let's put it on. Nervous. So I'm going to keep the back open so I can get my bolts and everything. Antler bracket, Beast buttons, old hardware, new hardware. Since this was used, I'm just going to replace the hardware just to be safe. You don't know how many times those nuts were taken on and off. 1/4 inch deep well is what I found to be the best to fit in there. When you're starting it, this little socket, 11mm, helps, and then the wrench. And I like this because it sits flush in here and it fits in, so you're not trying to find that nut. And I'm using a little a Delrin washer that I had extra as a spacer, because normally it has that plastic plate, but since I removed that bolt would stick out pretty far right there. So I don't want it to interfere by hitting the tree so the teeth can't grab on, or for some reason like that, so I just put that little spacer there to pull the bolt out, or just a touch. Okay, now I can seal it up and hope that I don't have to get back into it. What I found on the corners with the stealth strips is if you push the corner, get the corner edge established, and it kind of folds the fabric down a little bit, so it makes it a little bit easier to press down. You know, so if I got to cut them out, it'll be easy, but let's hope I don't. And then that's perfectly cut out. All that's perfectly cut out. That metal's decently enough covered up. So there is our seat post. So here is everything. Believe it or not, this is a Beast stand. Got the new hardware here, and you can see like how worn out, you know, that bolt is. There's marks. You know, so it's just good to replace it. This is for the cable. This is a 1-inch bolt. I'm waiting on this. It'll be here in a couple days. So I'm just going to throw these on just to put it back together and then replace it when they come in. So those will get replaced with new nuts as well. But just for the sake of this video, I'm going to put it together. So this one's going to be the thin Delrin washer, so there's no metal on metal. And then there's going to be this thick one here in between the two. Spacer, seat post, just like that, then another thin one, and then the nut. So there's going to be no metal on metal. Remember that. And this is why I measured it out, so there's no stealth strip going to be on that material. And this needs to be able to be a little stiff so it can hold position when you let it go. And again, just for the sake of the video, I am reusing the old hardware, but I'll have these here soon. So this one's just a bolt-in, thicker washer. Bolt goes through. Got that attached. That's pretty easy. You just put it back in, put the nut back in, pair of needle nose, you're good to go. Here I realized I didn't cut out the hole. Oops. Okay, a little help from a razor blade. And we're good. I'm gonna go through and trim out the stealth strip around there just so it's Delrin on metal and not sitting on the stealth strip. Just to be safe, but everything feels good. We have a completely silenced, stealth stripped, taped, all new hardware, furbished. No sounds whatsoever. We are good. So with the sticks going on, it sits right up against that OG antler bracket, very nice. I'm gonna still stealth strip the sticks so they're not noisy, but that's what I meant by that wobble. Like there's not that much wobble there. So yeah, that's gonna be the setup. Still got to get the seat on. Got to stealth strip the sticks. Got a little bit of secrecy on the sticks here. We'll see. Get my straps on. But that is looking, sure is looking good. I was doing so good on documenting this whole build out until I got to the sticks. I ended up creating a different template for the sticks for the stealth strips. But I got everything wrapped, got the hardware put back on. This was an important part to me where the sticks actually stack together. I taped that over and then put on the tethered Dynalock tab from the Skeletors. So I had an extra set of these. I forgot where I got them a couple years ago. but I ended up screwing these on. I still used all, you know, grade 8 hardware. I've been testing these like crazy. They're super tight without even an adapter. It fits on very, very well. I do not like cam buckles at all. I don't like the extra metal. They're heavy. I love these rope mods. I ran the Skeletors for 3 seasons, and those things were bulletproof. But what I didn't like about them was that the sticks or the steps folded, which was nice for transportation, but when your boot is coming up and you clip that and you don't realize, and it folds your step up, so when you go to climb back down and it's dark and you miss that, it feels like you're having a heart attack. And that happened to me more than once. Happened to me a few times actually. So I got sick of it, and that was, you know, that's the only complaint that I have for those sticks. The X pattern is great, but you know, with getting the Beast stand this year, I really wanted the Beast sticks, everything packed away nice. So I left that one cutout hole there for the attachment rod, and I taped it over just to have an extra deadening layer on there just to be safe. But yeah, this is how the sticks turned out really well. I'm super happy with this attachment method. It's great. And then it's just the Amsteel 1/8 inch rope mod or whatever they're called. You can buy them everywhere nowadays. But yeah, really, really happy with how these sticks are packing up, how they're easy they are to get on the tree, how light they are, how solid they are, everything about them. Really, really cool. So this is the only stick that's going to be different. This is my first stick. It's got a 2-step Amsteel 8er that has the, I think it's actually fuel line, rubber hose, so it kind of holds it out. I like these over the straps just because they're a little bit more packable. I kind of fold in to hang it. I kind of take these 2 ends, fold them together. This would be a lot easier, and then roll it up on itself. And then I have just normal shot cord that I put through the hole here, so then it wraps around. This bottom stick, so it's the only one with an 8er, and then this bottom stick also has an 8-foot rope mod on it. The other 3 have 6 feet, just because the tree is always thicker at the bottom, and then as you climb up it gets thin. So just in case I need that extra length for the bottom stick, the tree that I practice on at my house here is a little bit thicker on the bottom, so I like having that 8 foot on the bottom. But yeah, that's my first step, so that one always is going to go on top. So to wrap up this video, this is my Beast stand and sticks build out for this season. One thing that I did was added the Genesis 3D turret bowl holder on here. I'm contemplating getting the G3D, I think it's called the swingman bracket for the quiver. But usually I can just hang the quiver in the tree, so I'm not really too worried about it. But we'll see if I end up getting that or not. So I got my bowl holder, swings out. So the other thing that I'm experimenting with these straps that you see here, I say experimenting because I'm going to be trimming them and everything like that. But what they are, they're just compression straps for my pack. So I have the TX5. So I have the TX5 like minimalist or whatever. Now he's with Latitude, but they're just Molly compression buckles here. So one on the, you know, each top corner, bottom corner, that sort of thing that they clip in. Where's the other one? Yeah, right down here. So now I can just secure this. I've been running this in the woods with pretty good success so far, just to avoid, you know, anything bouncing around. But yeah, I just wanted something that's like integrated within the stand and not just like a Titan strap or something like that, just so it's all right there. So this would be for, you know, like late season or something like that, when I need a little bit more more gear, more clothes, that sort of thing. But for the early season, I will not be bringing this in. So I don't know if I'll have these on all season long. Still playing with it, but very happy with this bottom pouch. I got my saddle, my linesman and tether, and the rope mod for the stand all in here. So that's perfect. So literally all I have to do is grab my bow, grab this, and I'm ready to hunt, and that's everything. So I'm really happy with how this whole system's turning out. It's turned out to be a fun build, and I am super pumped to get this into the woods this October.